very careful, because what happens is, if you have to take admission for, let's say, fall 2022, which means the August semester, 2022, then you have to, the application deadline is somewhere in December 2021. So like 8 months before. So you have to be careful with that. Now, you should start readying yourself like 2 or 3 months prior to the admission deadline. You have to take GRE, you have to take TOEFL. TOEFL, okay, that's easy. I believe that if you prepare for GRE, your TOEFL is not a big deal. But I'll say one thing about GRE though. There is no given cutoff for GRE. What happens is, in the Indian context, a lot of people ask me, I am applying to XYZ university, what GRE score should I have? I am applying there, what GPA should I have? I'm applying there, what TOEFL should I have? The thing is that, I mean, as Indians, we are very much indoctrined to hard cutoffs, ranks, and so on, right? So the things don't work like that. I mean, in the US, so it's very flexible. The situation is very fluid. You have to provide a holistic view of your performance. You have to basically tell them why would they want you. That's it. If they want you, they will take you.
I think we need to maintain some minimum GRE score at least, maybe 315 or 316. I think so.
I don't know. I mean, even if that's the case, it's not written anywhere. So at most the universities, what they'll say is, if you look at the admission pages, what they'll say is that there is no minimum requirement for GRE, but the admitted students had a average GRE of, let's say, 320. So they'll make this vague statement. They won't put a hard cut deadline. They can, however, put a hard cutoff in TOEFL, because TOEFL basically measures your ability to speak and to listen and to comprehend English, and that's necessary. So for TOEFL, I think some universities ask for 90, some ask for 100. So with TOEFL, you have to be careful. You just see what university you're applying to. You see the minimum scores. But GRE is okay. I mean, it's flexible if you do well. Usually, I mean, the people who do not have their first language as English, they do much well in the quant part than in the verbal part. So my own score was, I think, my score was 150 in verbal and 168 in quants. So that makes 318. That's very close to the minimum thing which you are saying, 315, 316. But I can definitely say that the places that I was rejected, I was not rejected because of the lowest score in GRE. I can say that. Okay, next thing. So you took GRE TOEFL, and then you basically have to advertise yourself with the help of the SoP, what they call the statement of purpose. That is, I'd say that's the second most important thing in your admission file, which you are giving to them. So in this, you basically tell them your story. Now, okay, a lot of people, what they do, they start making up some imaginary stories. When I was a kid, I was intrigued by this. I got a machine, I corrected that machine, and then, so I mean, okay, if you have some real life experience like that, it's okay, but it's not necessary that you pick something up just to make
up the stories and
basically. So I know this because I talked to professors who read this, and what they said was that we'd very much appreciate if you give us just facts about you, so that we can make a decision easily, other than hearing your life story, basically. So I mean, the easier you make it for the person who is going to judge you, the easier it is going to be for you. Okay. So just keep it brief. Don't go into like unnecessary details. Just tell them, okay, my name is this. I did my bachelor's from this. During my bachelor's, I got experience in this topic. I was associated with whatever student group, if that's relevant. I performed decently in grades. Okay, about grades, you do not have to list out the grades there. They have got your transcripts for that. Okay. In the space, you talk something which they cannot see in the transcript. Okay? So you say that I worked with Professor XYZ in the summer, and we worked on this topic. We tried to do this. We were able to do this. We failed here. Basically, they should know that, okay, this is the experience you have, and these are the skills you know. For example, things like I learned how to use, let's say, CNC machine. I learned how to use some software like Abacus and so on. I have done this analysis here. If you have a publication, then it's even better. Then you just say that, okay, if our results are being published, you can say that our results have been published here, and you attach a link to wherever research is. And then after basically making up your statement that this is me, you tell them why they should take you. So you tell them I believe we are good fit at the university because I found out that there were 2 or 3 professors, Professor A, Professor B, Professor C, who were closely in my area of interest. I have seen their papers, I have read their papers, I have found out that they work on this area which closely matches the work that I have done, which closely requires the skills that I have acquired, which closely resembles what I want to do in life, and so on. Basically, tell them that you have not just, it's not a cursory application for you. You have taken out time to read the professor's research, and you have some idea about what you're talking about. Not like go to the Google Scholar page, see the latest paper, and copy the heading and say, I see Professor XYZ has worked on whatever. I am interested in that, so you take me. That won't work. Okay. Yeah. So your statement should have something which basically tells them that, okay, this guy is really interested. Yeah, that's it. At the end, you thank them for their time. That's it. It shouldn't be more than 1 page.
Okay.
I mean, when I say it shouldn't be more than 1 page, I'm not putting a deadline. But what I'm saying is, usually if you,
need to
don't require more than 1 page. Basically, make the job easier for them. As a TA now, because I also TA courses, we very much appreciate short answers.
Yes. Exact answers.
Written in good handwriting and fine, right? Because that makes our job easier to get partial credit and so on. Similar for them. If you mix up all sorts of stories there and you are not making a coherent sense, then it's very difficult for the guy to judge, right? It's going to be exactly. So just take care of these things, and student should be fine.
Yeah. And regarding this letter of recommendations, what do you suggest for that?
Right. So I said that SOP was the second most important thing.
Yes.
So letter of recommendation is the first.
Okay.
That is by far the most important thing, which basically decides that's a make or break decision. First of all, you have to make sure that your referees are people whom you have research with, who have some idea of your research. So, okay, maybe there is a professor, you attended his class, you got an A+ grade. That is not going to help you. Okay, because the thing that he's going to say is, I know this guy XYZ. He was in my class. I taught this. He got A+ grade. That's it. That is not going to help the other person because the A+ grade is already seeing in the transcript. You need people who can say things which are not already there in the transcript and so on. So, for example, a good letter of recommendation might go as the following. I am professor did this. I mentored my student who is applying did this as his advisor during, let's say, the master's program. He worked on this topic. I think he was a hardworking student, worked there, and he provided some useful results. Our results have been published here. I found him resourceful and things like that. So basically, things which are not present in any other document which you are presenting. So that's a meaningful thing, right? So I mean, the more your referees can write about you, for maybe use anecdotes. So maybe your advisor, your referee can say, one time we were stuck on that problem. He found an ingenious way out by doing this or by doing that.
Exactly.
Basically, things which give value to you, things which they say that with the professor reads and he says, okay, that's the guy I need in my lab. Okay, you provide him those things, right?
Basically, you mean to say that the professors which we have worked under some project or like a final year project or in some lab projects and all.
Exactly. So that's important because many students, what they do is they just try to go to a big shot. They say, okay, this guy is my department chair. He has a big name. His H index is this much. So people must know him. So let's go to him. And what he'll say is, I taught him. The reality is the student was one of the thousands he has taught. And he doesn't know anything about him other than his grade.
Exactly.
Okay. So that's not going to help. Just be careful. The people with whom you have worked, they can say something meaningful. Okay. Just make sure of that.
So when should a student start his application process?
Yeah, as I said, it depends upon, let's say you have already taken on GRE and TOEFL. By the way, these are valid for GRE, I think, for 5 years, TOEFL for 2 years.
Yes,
so you can take it earlier also, whenever you are comfortable. I recommend that like if you are going for a master's degree, then you can take GRE in the final year of your BTech after your projects and GATE, etc. they are done. Then you can take GRE because that's a place in which you got some free time before your master's degree starts. I did not do that. I had to do my GRE and TOEFL in between my master's degree. And that was difficult because master's degree itself is demanding. But anyway, so you take GRE TOEFL whenever you feel comfortable. Now, once you have that, the application process is very simple. Just that you have to be careful that your referees give out the recommendations and so on, right? You just have to make sure and remind them. Other than that, the process won't take more than half an hour at a university.
Yeah.
So just make sure you ask the referees before putting in their name.
Okay.
That will you be able to write me a good letter of recommendation? Just make sure that they are ready. Then put in their name. The university themselves will send a link to the professor, and then he has to upload. Just keep reminding him at regular intervals that sir, you have to upload and so on. Okay. Sometimes I tend to forget, but yeah, I just keep reminding them.
So Aaquib, how about this IELTS? Is it valid in your university?
Yes,
instead of TOEFL?
Yes, it is.
Students can take either of TOEFL or IELTS.
Definitely.